So how does a country's focus really change over 20 years? Well, one of the best ways to find out is to simply follow the money. And in this explainer, that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll track government spending across 6 key areas to see the story of shifting priorities. It's a perfect model for how to analyze trends from visual data. These 3 pie charts here are a roadmap. They're basically snapshots of government spending in 1980, 1990, and 2000. Our job now is to look beyond just the numbers and put together a clear story that explains what changed, and just as important, by how much. Before we dive into the year-by-year changes, the most important first step is to get the big picture. What were the main overarching trends that held true across this entire 20-year period? Let's start there. And here's the key insight right away. There was a lot of consistency at the top and the bottom. Higher education was, without a doubt, the heavyweight champion every single year, always getting the largest slice of the pie. On the flip side, environmental services and other miscellaneous sectors consistently got the smallest shares. Keeping this in mind is really going to help us understand the changes that happened in between. So, with that main trend established, we can now zoom in and watch the story unfold. Let's start our journey back in 1980 to see how things looked at the beginning. Back in 1980, the priorities were crystal clear. Education was king. Higher education got 35% and K-12 got 25%. If you add those up, that's a massive 60% of all spending. So that really set the stage, with transportation and health coming in as the next priorities. But they were much, much smaller. Okay, now let's jump forward a decade. The whole picture changes, and pretty dramatically. Just look at the surge for higher education. It jumps a full 10 points to 45%. So where did that money come from? Well, you can see a clear trade-off. Transportation spending was slashed by more than half, dropping all the way to just 6%. At the same time, health and human resources also got a pretty big boost. This suggests a major policy shift towards social programs and higher learning, and away from infrastructure. And by the year 2000, we see another big course correction. Transportation spending didn't just recover, it skyrocketed to 22%, making it the second largest spending category. This points to a huge new investment, probably to address the cuts from the decade before. And while higher education was still number 1, its share did dip a bit. We also see the first real increase for environmental services, which kind of hints at a new priority just starting to emerge. So, after tracking all these shifts across 2 decades, what's the ultimate story the data is telling us? Well, the final step in any good analysis is to bring all these points together into a clear, concise conclusion. The long-term story is really one of gradual evolution, not some kind of revolution. As this slide sums it up, the core government focus on education was a constant. But the single most significant change over the entire period was, without a doubt, the dramatic rise of transportation as a major national priority by the turn of the century. And this process, identifying the main trend first, then looking at the specific changes, and finally giving a clear summary, that is such a powerful analytical skill. It's essential not just in academic contexts like the IELTS exam, but for clearly and effectively communicating what the data is telling us in any field.